So what we're going to do is we're going to look into the backup of our iPhone on our computer after you've done a backup to your computer from your iPhone. And what happens is it stores it under the C drive, under the user account that you've logged in as. Mine happens to be Ottawa. Ottawa is Microsoft's shortcut. Apparently, removing one letter speeds up the process of getting into that directory. Under there, we then have app data. Under app data, it'll be roaming. Under there, we have Apple Computer. We're getting close now. Then we have mobile sync and backup. Ta-da! So today is the 12th day of December, and yesterday I did a backup. This is what it does. It leaves a big long hash alphanumeric file, or actually there's a directory. And in here you'll find that once again you have a whole bunch of weird directories. And if you go into any of these, you'll have files which are hashed without alphanumeric names. Very difficult, hard to understand. But if you go in and let's grab one here, and if you look at the size, there's one here, 3 meg. I'm going to guess that this is going to be, even though it's just a file name without an extension of that, some sort of hash, I bet I can change this to test, whoops, requires an S there, .jpeg. I'm just guessing it's going to be a JPEG file. And yeah, it just happens to be a JPEG file. So that's what Apple does. They've just taken everything on your iPhone and they've made all the files weird names and put them in these weird directories. Throw us off the scent, if as it were. So I've got a Control Z that, so I go back. Now the trick here is to find out what all these weird and wonderful names are. They leave you a manifest. .db. Now DB stands for database. Someone was smart enough to make an acronym that for an extension which really worked. And you can open these DB files with SQLite. I like to say SQLite, that's how I pronounce it, but it's a SQLite, or it's SQLite. Regardless, if you go to the web and if you type in SQLite, their homepage, this is a free open source software, open to the public domain. And under download, you can download all sorts of different things. For me personally, I've just done one thing, and I've gone to the SQL tools, Win32, and I'm just looking for the command line shell. So if you download the zip file, which I now have done, I go into show the folder, and well, that's the second time I've done it, so I'll delete that. If you unzip it, I happen to have 7-zip, which is another open source software. Just Google it, download it, and you can unload this SQLite tools into a SQLite directory, and it gives you 3 tools. The one we're interested in is SQLite 3.exe. So you can copy that, as I've already done, and let's see, did I save my, I believe I did, and I put that SQLite 3 in with the manifest. So simple, very simple program. Double click, opens up a database for SQLite. If the lettering is too small, what you have to do is you have to go to properties and then choose a font which is larger so that you can see it. The default is very small on my screen anyways. I have a small small device. It's a small, Surface. So once you're in SQL, it says you're not connected to anything, so you just got a transient in-memory database. Use .open file name. to open a persistent database? Well, the .open, that's a clue. SQLite takes on all manner of SQL commands. So I don't think you should need to know what SQL commands are, but there's a whole raft of online study courses where you can learn SQLite or SQL. And SQLite does all those, but it also has some commands which are just pertinent to SQLite, and they are the dot commands. And after a little bit of hunting and poking, if you do dot help, it'll tell you all the dot commands. So, and there's a few of them. You can peruse them at your leisure. But what we need to do at this point is we need to dot open and manifest. .db, you need the extension. And if there's an error or if there isn't, doesn't matter, it won't tell you. The way you can find out if you're connected is to do .table. And in manifest.database, you should have two tables, one's files and one's properties. So this is all good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at files. So we're going to go, and this is an SQL command now, so we don't need the dot. We go SQL, we go select star from files, and I just want to limit it to one row, and every SQL statement is ended with a semicolon. So I've got a well, sort of a messy looking thing. This is the first row of the database, and what we have here is this you've probably seen this before. This is a hash of some sort of file marker, and then you've got a type, app domain plugin for Netflix, and then you've got these bars are separators for each of the columns. But we don't know what these rows are, so what we're going to do is we're going to say dot help me, and you can see here dot show. And dot show is telling us that among other things, headers is off. So I'm going to take a wild guess and say headers, plural. And we're going to turn that on. You can up arrow to go back to show, and you can see now that headers is on. So now I'm going to up arrow to select star from files, limit 1, and great, we got file ID, we got domain, relative path, flags, and file. That's what's in here. So that's great. Now what I want to do is I just want to get this out. What I want to do here is I'd like to find the funny hash, which is the database file, which is my SMS texts. And a little bit of hunting and pecking, a little bit of detective work, and what I found was that it's called, or it's got the name sms.db in it. So I have to search through this and find in a row where it says sms.db. So what I can do is I can say select and star from files where, and I'm going to say relative path, I believe. Relative path is capitalized. Like, oh, need a space there. It's like percent, which is a wild card, sms.db. And I'm going to limit. Well, actually, I don't need to limit because there's probably only one of these in your backup. So if I go like this, hey, found the row. Great. So I've got an sms.db, and we don't need to know anything else except for this long line here, which is the file. So now this is a DOS thing, but what you got to do is you got to go edit mark, and you got to mark that just as it appears there, the file ID. and then you got to go edit copy, and we can exit for now out of that database. Don't need that anymore. So in here somewhere there's buried that that file we're looking for. Well, we can go into search, Control V, or you can right click paste, whatever, and it's working on it. It's gonna find it, have no doubt. It's found it right here. So here's the file. It's 2.5 meg, and there's no extension. We have no idea it's a DB file except the fact that we know that the manifest database told us so. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back to my backups directory, or my downloads directory, and just toss it in here with my SQLite 3. And then I'm going to change this to its rightful name, SMSDB. And I'm going to go into SQLite, and I'm going to say, remember now, .open sms.db, and I'm going to go .table, and this particular database has more tables in it. One of the tables is message, which is great. We're interested in just the message, so what we can do is select star from message, and got to type that correctly. Limit, we'll limit to 10, end it with SQL, and we've got a whole bunch of stuff. That's great. But what's up? FHDDG, I don't know what that was supposed to be. Hi, hello, hey, let me in. These are all your messages. Yay, we found them. Okay, so we're going to go .header on, and then I'm going to output this to a file. So I'm going to say .output, and I'm going to go sms.csv, and I'm going to go select star from, well, why don't I just up arrow, and instead of limit 10, I'm going to do the whole thing. And I'm going to go exit, and I should have now a CSV file. And now I have Excel on my computer. You can edit this. I have Notepad++. It is a it's sort of comment delimitator. What the default are these bars. That's the delimitator. So it's just a text file. Now, if you have Excel, you can do this step, which is to open it with Excel, and it's going to toss, because there's no commas in it, it's going to toss everything into the first row. All right. So the second row has nothing in it. That does. Okay. But what we want to do is we want to say data, text to column, and delimited, and the delimitator is this bar, and we're going to say finish, and this means that there are some bars that or commas in the data, so it makes a bit of a mess of things, but generally it works. We could maybe work on another video. It works perfectly, but I'm more for perfection so hard to attain. But essentially what we have now is we have row ID, we have the GUID, which is one of these long alphanumeric things, and here you have all your text messages, and if you go along here you have your account, which is my phone number. Don't call me. I don't want you to call me. And then you've got date read, date delivered. These are all dates that are Unix times. So just Google Unix times, and you can add that to 1970 in seconds and get the actual date and time. Then you've got all these zeros or ones, which are all of these guys. which is share direction, share status, group title, all that stuff that's crazy you don't need to know. And I've got like thousands of these. I'm not one uh, for erasing anything, so see, these are all my text messages. So here ends the video. I hope you enjoyed it. You've learned SQLite, common delimited separated files, and a little bit about how Apple does their business. Good luck and happy hunting.